This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. Russian President Vladimir Putin has again signaled his country's readiness to assist in ongoing efforts by Armenia and Azerbaijan to reach a normalization deal. We would be happy if we can do something for the signing of a peace treaty between Armenia and Azerbaijan, agreeing on delimitation and demarcation of borders and on unblocking communications, Putin told reporters today on a state visit to Baku. He added, "After my visit to Azerbaijan, I will also get in contact with Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and tell him about the results of our negotiations." Putin is on a rare trip outside Russia with the aim of further developing his country's strategic partnership and alliance with Azerbaijan, according to the Kremlin press service. His plans include closed-door talks with Aliyev and signing a number of as-yet unspecified documents. The two countries signed a declaration on allied cooperation just days before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Meanwhile, Azerbaijan's Foreign Minister Ceyhun Bayramov said Russia has always been an acceptable platform for Azerbaijan for negotiations with Armenia in an interview today with Russia's Izvestia newspaper. Continuing, he reiterated that Armenia must change its constitution to remove references to Nagorno-Karabakh before relations between the two countries can be normalized, a prospect seen in Yerevan as a non-starter. In related news, Yerevan today dismissed Baku's latest claims overnight of more ceasefire violations, with Armenia's defense ministry reiterating a proposal to establish a joint mechanism to investigate such claims. Earlier, Azerbaijan's defense ministry claimed 3 separate incidents took place between yesterday evening and this morning, allegedly involving Armenian troops opening fire across the border and conducting drone flights. Azerbaijan has so far remained silent on the proposal to investigate ceasefire violation claims together with Armenia. After a previous spate of accusations late last week, the European Union's outgoing special representative to the South Caucasus, Toivo Klar, reiterated his full support for Yerevan's proposal in a post on the social platform X. A new report by CivilNet shows a vast disparity in the amount of international aid promised to Armenia in the wake of Azerbaijan's attack on Nagorno-Karabakh last September, and to Georgia in the first 2 years after Russia's 2008 invasion. Armenia has been promised $109 million so far, most of which has yet to reach Yerevan, compared to $4.5 billion sent to Georgia. Yerevan has mainly received humanitarian aid from international partners, such as the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, the U.S. Agency for International Development, the European Commission, the International Committee of the Red Cross, and the World Bank. In addition, China, Latvia, and Lithuania have provided direct assistance. By way of contrast, the International Monetary Fund allocated $1.17 billion to Georgia after Russia's invasion, with half of that amount given as grants and the other half as loans. Bilateral U.S. assistance to Georgia in 2008 to 2009 exceeded $1 billion, including $250 million in direct budgetary support and an additional $100 million from the Millennium Challenge Corporation, according to the U.S. Congressional Research Service. Armenia's Deputy Prime Minister Tigran Khachaturian has advised against making critical judgments on the matter, telling CivilNet, "What we have received so far from our international partners is a good contribution to help Armenia provide housing for the refugees." He also believes that Armenia can expect more aid from the international community as the country continues supporting people forcibly displaced from Nagorno-Karabakh. Addressing concerns that a significant portion of the $109 million in aid pledged to Armenia remains undelivered, Khachaturian insisted that the government has no doubts that those promises will be kept.
What happened in Nagorno-Karabakh is one of the most egregious examples of rights abuses that I have seen in all these places. And what's unique about this is that, it's gone virtually under the radar for the international community. I've never seen such extreme rights abuses that just happen as if without any sort of real international response from the international community.
That's according to Thomas Becker, Legal and Policy Director at the US-based University Network for Human Rights, who joins us to review his organization's fact-finding, documentation, and advocacy work in Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh. Becker discusses why the international community has been so silent about Azerbaijan's ethnic cleansing of Nagorno-Karabakh's Armenians, and what can be done about it. You can also take a look at Business Week Armenia, CivilNet's weekly roundup of economic headlines. In the latest digest, the Armenian government will set up a free economic zone around a new ski resort in Armenia's western Aragatsotn region, which will provide generous tax breaks to businesses registered there. Authorities say the initiative is needed to boost tourism and create jobs. In addition, the head of Armenia's biggest business association decried a new government proposal to toughen penalties for tax evasion, saying it will deter investors from the country. You can find a link to both these videos in the video description below and on our website at civilnet.am. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 3,000. That's because the European Union's monitoring mission marked its 3,000th patrol along Armenia's border with Azerbaijan yesterday. A post on the social media platform X to mark the occasion said the EU sent a patrol up to an elevation of 3,000 meters in the area near the town of Jermuk to observe and report back to Brussels about the situation on the ground. The mission has been operating in Armenia since February of last year. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.